We got DJ Emskee, Brooklyn, New York.
Salute.
Fucking grizzled veteran in this shit.
What up?
With the utmost respect. Fucking been around for a while. Intelligent cat, speaks his mind. I vibe out with a lot of the shit that he says on his page and his music, and I'm excited, man. So thank you very much for joining us.
A real human being exists, brother.
Yeah, right? Yeah, where are they?
I'm saying, man, it's crazy out here right now. But thank you for the invitation to be on the CTC show. Of course, I've been keeping updated with all your archives. I love how you put it down. Like, understand, you are an essential worker. You understand what I'm saying? I am an essential worker. A lot of what we talk about, what we do, what we're about, I think a lot more people on the outside of that, they don't really give a fuck. But at the same time, we are so important to an era of hip hop that obviously has long passed on, but it remains the pillar of everything that is happening now. And we have to continue to tell the stories. We got to continue to go through the motions of doing what we're supposed to do.
It's a good point that you make, man, because I've been reluctant to embrace that phrase, that title, or whatever people are just saying, but like, people have said it, and it's like, like, for me, it's about, this is what I grew up with. This hip hop shit taught me a lot of lessons, a lot of life lessons. I can remember what like clothes I was wearing when certain songs dropped.
Right.
I'm sure you can too. So it's like, I at first I was kind of like, like I'm not deliberately trying to do anything. But then I started and I realized, wait, this shit is really fucked up. Like, okay, let's dig in.
Yes.
And now I feel like it's a responsibility. Like, I feel like I have a responsibility and I feel like you have a responsibility to at least, like, again, this shit's going to change and morph into a lot of different things. There's going to be a lot of different offshoots, but to at least hold down what we know is true. Like,
well, I'm going to tell you the definitive time period for me is when the internet hit. When the internet hit, before the internet, for those of you out there who are 35 plus, they can understand what I'm about to say. Before the internet, you had to be appointed to do certain things. You had to be appointed to be a dope DJ to spin at a party. You had to be appointed to be a dope DJ to spin on the radio. Now everybody does everything, and the access that everybody has to everything I mean, look, there's a positive and negative to everything, right?
Right.
Let me just get that out. But the negative is that people have become so reliant on bullshit to, I guess, judge everything else by. Where I come from or where you come from, it's like you had to be good, you had to be thorough, or worst case scenario, you get beat down for just being whack. You know what I'm saying? And that era is long gone because everybody has a Facebook profile, everybody has an Instagram profile. Everybody deems themselves important. I remember when Kid Capri was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago, and he made the point. He's like, "Yo, the little guy is as big as the big guy now." And I had to think about that for a second. But he said, "Yo, if you look online, back in the day, flyers were made because people in certain positions were anointed to the building. Kid Capri, Clark Kent, Red Alert. Those were, it was certified. When you went there, you gonna get some shit, right? But now the little guy can make themselves look as big as the big guy.
Facts.
So there's no barometer and there's no way to tell who's who. And then of course, when you get into the money aspect of getting paid out of this, which is, I mean, look, a lot of us ain't making no money, but if we're going to make money, the pay grade is all fucked up just because of that idea as well. Right. Nobody knows who's dope and nobody knows who's whack. So it's all mixed up, but I continue to do it because it's in my blood. I love this culture. I don't like all of the aspects that come with it because, a lot of people just like yourself, I like to reminisce. Oh, I want to go back to the old New York. There's a lot of the old New York that I do not like and I never want to see again.
Right.
But with that old New York spawned a lot of the stuff that we know and love. So again, the gift and the curse, you know?
Yeah, because the positive aspect of that, and I mentioned it previously in a post, is that there is no excuse for anybody now to not be doing what they want to do though. Like because all the tools are available. I mean, so there's a there's a negative because I wouldn't have access to the people I have and wouldn't be able to do this so easily what I'm doing if it weren't for the internet. And so
Right.
I think it also shines a spotlight on people who are doing shit. There's a lot of dope people out there. And I've
Indeed.
seen, I mean, a lot of people that I've met
Yes.
that like, who's like the little guy, but they're really like for instance, Joe, I didn't, what I'm saying? There's so many people out doing stuff. I wasn't familiar with you like that. You know what I'm saying? I heard the name or whatever, but I wasn't familiar. But you've been around for like 30 plus years doing this shit. There's a
You
lot
know
of people,
what?
and there's a lot of people like that. You know what
I
I'm
want to
saying?
say, I mean, we can, if you want, we can get into a little bit of my history. Like I got, I got my feet planted in this game. I'm not a household name, but those who know and follow authenticity and follow just solid cats who really are about this culture, they either know my name or they know what I'm about and they know how I get down. But
Right.
if you talk to a lot of cats, Emskee, oh yeah, Emskee, who's that? Then if you start naming stuff, oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. But I kind of like it like that because I've never really been about the spotlight, to be honest. But I mean, I remember, look, when I was trying to get a deal back in like 90, 91, 92, you're a young kid, you see all the stuff on the videos, you hear DJs on the radio, you want to be a part of that culture, but you forget or you don't know yet that there's real life outside of whatever it is that you're studying and looking at. So once I got to a certain age, I realized, you know what, a lot of this shit is smoke and mirrors, because people can get swept up in it, and if you get lost, you can really fuck yourself up.
Right.
But I learned after a while, like, this is all smoke and mirrors. I need to just do this because it's my job to do it, but also I need to do this because it needs to be done, and the future generation that might want to know about what we did, they can pass the torch, and hopefully keep it going. But there's a lot of old school cats from the '80s, before the golden era, that have been forgotten about and are very bitter. And I understand it. I mean, a lot of times they go, oh, you're old dude, he always hating. I mean, look, a lot of these brothers, like I said, we don't make any money out of this. And for all the dope that's come out and for all the people that have kind of put forth work and put in work, you don't really get a lot back out of hip hop at the end of the day. But those of us who are soldiers, we continue to throw this brand out there, tell people what the real is. I mean, attention spans now are, very, very, very low because, like I said, the bullshit kind of reigns and nobody really knows what's high and what's low.
Nor do
It's
they
all mixing
care.
together.
Nor do they care. That's the other issue. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are willing to be spoon fed. Yo, let's go back for a minute though, because you're a little bit older than me, and it doesn't make so much of a difference now. But when we were kids, it would make a huge difference. You're 8 years older than me, so I want to go back to, you can kind of remember, like if 77, 78, what was it like then, as far as just when this shit was first starting to bubble as a culture, and not even as a culture, just cats just doing shit. Like, what was it like in the when there was no money for anybody?
Well, my story picks up in '82. '82 is when I first heard Planet Rock
What?
on night. Listen,
Stop!
'92.
Stop! I gotta cut you off for a second because that's when my story starts,
Yeah.
and that's the same song it started on.
Yes.
So that's so my head just
vivid memories. My mother was cutting my hair. I was listening to 92 KTU. DJ Animal played Planet Rock, and something went through my body. I can't explain it, but it was like, yo, what is this? And then from then on, I was, I got into the record collecting. I fucked many records up, not knowing about putting the felt underneath the record when you're trying to scratch on your home stereo. I mean, you know, like a lot of cats that come from the era, they know what I'm talking about. You know, sitting in my room repairing cassette tapes, opening them up, saving cassette tapes that were all fucked up and pulled out. You know what I'm saying? Like that was I was a nerd back then. But I'm glad that I was a nerd back then because it kept me in the house, it kept me out of trouble, and it just gave me like I just knew I didn't know what hip hop was like I know what it is now. But when I first heard Planet Rock, it something went through me, man, and that was it. It
Yeah,
was over.
yeah.
You
No,
know?
that was. I don't understand it, yo. I can't
But hold up,
call
you
it.
know what? Let me tell you something else. The thing about Planet Rock, I know Bambaataa, Soul Sonic Force, they were very into Sun Ra. You know who Sun Ra is, right?
Of course.
Okay. Sun Ra was into intergalactic energies and communication. And that's the vibe that Bambaataa was on with hip hop. So when I say, yo, something went through me, if you just connect all the dots, I mean that's kind of crazy. That's Bambaataa basically taking the idea from Sun Ra about energy and beyond connect. Yo, it's crazy, man. But hip
Yo,
hop, this is why I love hip hop.
my head really exploded because that's the song, yo. That's the track. And I
Yeah,
started
man.
out b-boying, but that's the shit. Yeah, that rock. Yeah, the whole shit, man. Like the switch up, everything.
Let's take it to the beginning of the song
Let's
with the
put the fucking
reverb, the
song
reverb
on.
on the crowd. It just had that eerie sound to it. Like the whole record is bananas, yo.
Party people, party people. And listen, because I keep it a buck. I trash Bambaataa now. I do not fuck with Bambaataa.
I know.
I don't
Yeah,
I don't fuck with him at all. You
I
can't
know.
take away what he did in hip hop,
Yeah.
but I don't fuck with him, and I don't fuck with anybody that supports him. I mean, like on some like friend shit. I just
No,
like
I agree with you. I mean, you know, we don't have to go into details, but we know what time it is, and you know, it's like I can't get down with that.
yeah.
But he is responsible for how I feel about hip hop. So you know what I'm saying?
No, of course. I mean, we got. I gotta own that. It is what it is. What it
Yeah,
is. But yeah, I don't. I don't fuck with that shit. But
yeah,
regardless, here's
yeah, man. That's a time long gone, kid.
it's like three separate songs within one song right there too. Like the switch. But for a dancer, I was rocking to this. I was rocking to the shit at the. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I dig your Happy Feet videos too. I see those. I see
Oh,
you getting
we
busy.
gonna get into the house shit. I'm a house head, yo.
No doubt. Yeah.
Since like,
See, no, but see, a lot of people don't know house and hip hop coexisted.
of course they
You
did.
you can do it. It
A
can
lot of
be
people
done.
don't know now, but I mean, if you go back, you could go all the way back. I mean, like I'm saying, fucking Twin Hype, even
Oh
fucking
man, come
Jungle
on.
Brothers,
Yeah,
fucking
man.
King's Son. I mean, come
Yes.
on, man. I mean, like fucking,
Yeah.
like it's that yo. I've been a house head since like that's like equal right there. Like there's for me, like there's no like I'd rather more as far as dancing goes. I'd rather dance the house because I can be more free with that anyway.
Right.
So,
Right.
so yo, did you start DJing or rhyming first?
DJing. I started DJing in '86. And I started DJing the way that I think a lot of people need to start nowadays because, you know, technology is great. Like I said, there's a positive and negative to everything. But I learned on two different turntables. One had a messed up pitch control, a fucked up mixer, you know, but I learned all about blending disco records together to make them sound like one because a lot of people don't know disco records, that's a live drummer. And the drummer's on, but sometimes when they hit that breakdown, if you're running a blend and you don't know how to ride that breakdown, your mix is going to sound like a train wreck. So I'm just saying I learned on mismatched turntables and a fucked up mixer. So once I got I upgraded my equipment, I kind of went through boot camp. You know what I'm saying of how to get down. You know, I started going out and collecting records. I mean, look, the hip hop bug was in me, man. And '86 is when I actually first touch the turntables.
What type of because I found it in an interview, but I lost the exact quote, so I'm gonna paraphrase. But you know, you said that you don't want to. I mean, you spin all kinds of shit. You got a house show or disc, like a dance.
Yeah.
What you know, like
Mm-hmm.
show. I've seen some of your videos and shit on YouTube and stuff like that. You spin a lot of different stuff. So
Right.
talk about particular, I guess, style. How you rock. Like, what's your philosophy as a DJ as far as the music goes?
Music is a universal language, man. If you discriminate against any kind of music, you're a sucker. Music is life. I mean, I could describe music in many different ways, but you know, I grew up. I went to predominantly white Catholic schools when I was in high school, and in school before that. So I was privy to the other side. You know, I learned a lot about rock, a lot about classic rock, soft rock. You know, I know a lot of the cats in the hood wasn't rocking with that, but I learned that side. But at home, I had soul. You know, I learned about like rare breaks and stuff from the Supreme Team, Jerry Bloodrock, WHBI. This was my training period. You know what I'm saying? And like just from that, man, I just love music. If anything sounds good to me, I don't care what genre it is. I want to find an audience that's open-minded enough to take it in. Okay, you have a hip hop party. That's great. That play all party hip hop. Then you might have a hip hop party that does underground. All that is great, but it's all segregated. I'm still looking for an opportunity to play all of that stuff within one night to kind of make everybody that comes through happy. As a DJ, you're never going to be able to make everybody in a room happy. It's virtually impossible. Not unless you're just, you know, back-to-back chart-topping hits that everybody knows. And we all know what those sets are like because all the 90s parties, that's what it was. All the records that you knew, just back-to-back, you know, and everybody knows them. But I think the mark of an experienced DJ is being able to have vast knowledge of varying genres and play a set where you can play stuff that people know, but then you fit in other stuff that if you know how to blend it in and blend it right. I had a party at this place called Black Betty. It's in Brooklyn. It's across from where the knitting factory is now. For 3 years, it was called Make Love Not War every Saturday. And I used this formula. Now, at that time period, Williamsburg was a confused melting pot. You had the ghetto cats from up the block. You had the Hasidic Jewish people coming through. You had the bridge and tunnel crowd. You had gay. You had straight. Everybody came through on a Saturday night to party. And I found a way to play all different kinds of music through the whole night. And it was magical because it worked. I knew exactly what to do. I read the crowds. I mean, you know, it's not going to be the same every week. But a real DJ is able to read a crowd and then make adjustments as you go along. But nowadays, you got DJs out here playing predetermined sets. You sit at home, plan out your whole night, and that can backfire on you because
it does backfire.
Exactly.
And tell me about because as a dancer, it's the most frustrating thing when the DJ's playing some banging shit and the whole crowd is rocking, and then he just takes it down like 3 levels and to some other shit because he or she is simply looking at his or her records, and not paying attention to who's doing what out there. That's what the fuck matters, yo. So it's like, I'm like, okay, so you came here basically to hear yourself. Like, you just spending your bedroom set out here, and it's like, it doesn't matter what we're fucking doing out here right now.
I'm going to say something that might confuse you. You know why cats like us don't matter on the set now? What do people do when well, obviously we're in the COVID and a lot of people don't really go out like that, but what did you see people doing before the COVID hit? What do people do most when they go out? You sit and look at your phone.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
before analog era, before the internet, when you went out, you went somewhere. If it was whack, you would page your boy, yo, place is whack. Where you at? But now it's like people just don't pay attention to what's going on. Like they hear one song that they don't like, they text it. Where are you? Oh, I'm 2 blocks down. Oh, we're coming there. It's whack, yo. It's whack. Like, look, you go out, you're supposed to go out to not do what you do at home, which is sit on the couch on your phone or on the bus or on your car, wherever. You're always on your phone. Put your phone down, go out, and I guarantee you your mind will open. And if you're around other people that allow different kinds of sounds into their ears, man, it becomes a different kind of party. It becomes a different kind of party. But then again, like I said, everybody has different needs and likes. If you want to go to a hardcore hip hop party, you do that. But I'm just saying, for more mature ears, you gotta understand that when you go out, leave the DJ alone. Fuck a request. If the DJ knows what he's doing, stay away from him. I remember, back in the day, DJs were marked off. You couldn't even get to the DJ. Or if you did, some, brolic brother would be like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Step back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now, people walk up to the DJ booth, ask to plug their phone in when they don't. Yeah, dude, listen, it's serious. A lot of DJs in this chat room, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Yo, in this digital age, it's out of control. I've had parties where people come up and they're grooving, and people are moving, but they want what they want because the internet put the power of music in people's hands. They took it away from the DJ and put it in your hand. So you have a Spotify playlist at home. You go to the club. You're trying to do the exact same thing you did at home. So a DJ is rocking, but because you feel like you're important, remember I said again, everybody has a platform. So when they go outside, they still feel like they're important. So they step to the DJ. Oh, can you play this? And they shove their phone in your face. I'm like, yo, I'm rocking right now. Then, the real DJs, you kind of ward them off like, yeah, I got it. It's coming up. And you see them. Some of these dudes are persistent. And girls, too. They sit there. And in the next song, if it's not the song they asked for, they come right back over. Hey, can you play such and such? You mess it. A DJ that doesn't know will get his groove fucked up because that one patron will mess up your groove. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, man.
This is going on?
Ask around. I mean, like I said, we had a COVID now. People ain't really going out like that. But I'm telling you, it had gotten to the point where, when you go out to DJ, people don't care because it's like, oh, why do I need a DJ when I can make my own DJ playlist at home? That's where we at now. But for those of you,
I ain't DJing because I be punching motherfuckers in the fucking.
Dude, you don't understand. I mean, it's a long going struggle, for us real DJs out here.
Let's talk a little bit about the technical shit, man, because some of the things you've said, they relate to many fields, and you just talked about like, okay, we've been talking about so far. It's very easy to DJ. It's very easy to be a graphic designer now. It's very easy to do a lot of these things with the computer, right? You can make your own flyer right now. Who needs me to build your website when you can go on fucking Wix and make that shit in 10 minutes and be done with it, a template, boom, right? So we talked about that. So you got the Serato. I'm not a DJ, but you got I know there's easy ways to make that shit sound seamless, and I know there's a manual way to make it sound seamless as well. And we talked about you talked about how a lot of these cats learning now and coming up now are just going straight to the computer, straight to the fucking to the gadgets. These Inspector Gadget DJs. You know what I'm saying? So talk a little bit about that, man.
I was late to the game with digital. I used to DJ on J Smooth's Underground Railroad on WBAI 99.5 FM here in New York for 11 years. And I DJ with a cat named DJ 3D, who's also down with DJ AV, DJ Spinner. They were the original DJs for the Underground Railroad. And then me and Monk One came in 3D. But 3D, when Serato came out, 3D is a tech head. So we prided ourselves on playing vinyl every single week on that show. Whatever you went to search for your records, everybody came with a different kind of eclectic set. But when the digital came, he was the first person to come up there with Serato. And I was adamant. I was like, hell no. Hell no. Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. A year later, I'm not doing it. Cats had started to tell me, you might want to. I was stubborn. Nope. I love my records. I love my vinyl. I'm not doing it. you getting older, man. You're gonna start breaking your back with the crates. I don't care. I was stubborn. So maybe a year later, this 2 years in, I had started going over to the UK to spin as well. This is 2000, was it 2005? 2005, 2006, around there. I went over there once with my crates. When I came back, the next time I was invited over, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to look into this digital thing. So I bought Serato, and it sat in my room for about an extra 7 months. I just stared at it. And finally, I was like, you know what? Other cats, by this time, other cats, all, other DJs I know, they had gotten into it. They're like, man, you need to, I'm telling you, man, it's much easier, this and that and the other. Nah, I love my vinyl. And eventually, I fell into, because, it is more convenient. But digital DJs, please check the bit rate on your files. This is a secret. It's not really a secret. It's common knowledge. But if you ever go to a club and you heard a digital DJ spin and his files sound mad flat, like there's no bass, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but it's all treble. There's no depth to it. If you remember, you used to go to the building, right? You used to go to Island Lounge. Remember how heavy the sound was? Nowadays with the digital, if the bit rate on your files is not at 320 or a WAV file, it sounds very tinny. A lot of brothers just think, oh, I'm gonna grab a file and go play. Sound has a lot to do with how you're perceived when you're on the tables. So I made sure that when I made the transition that I still wanted to sound good and really not sound like a dude that didn't know what he was doing, and you playing a file that has no bass in it, trying to get a party rocking.
We got DJ Emskee in the building, Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. Fucking, we nerding out on some DJ shit. I got some questions for you, man. Big up everybody on the show.
Shout out to everybody in the chat room. But salute.
Be real. DJ Sapphire holding it down. Fucking, my man Dulio. Fucking Granddaddy IU, I believe he was in here. So salute.
Yes,
everybody.
he was. I saw him. Oh, yo, let me show you this shirt real quick. Show you where I'm at with it.
I can't read that. Oh.
The Latin Quarter, son. The Latin Quarter.
Paradise lives here in Pittsburgh.
Does he?
Yeah, he lives here in Pittsburgh. He's been here for like 25 years.
Man, listen.
He's a jewel. Like he's a good dude. He's right here.
Let me tell you, I will admit it. I never made it to the Latin Quarter because I wasn't built like that back then. I'm gonna be I'm repping this right now, but I have to put that as a good disclaimer. Yo, son, Latin Quarter was it. I had brothers that went, and it was serious, man. But like compare back then to now, like even to go out and party, you had to have balls to go party. Now, cats is out here thinking stuff is sweet. The DJ is playing all kinds of craziness. People ain't even paying attention. It's a whole different ball game now, son. But that's why we do what we do.
Of course. I need to jump into a question for you.
Yeah.
It's I talk about it all the time. It's something that's I feel strongly about. But I'm going to ask you. You've been doing this for a while. If you're call yourself a DJ. And you can't spin vinyl and only spin CDs, are you a DJ?
You can be, but you're not an authentic DJ. Now, somebody may even have issues with that. They would say, yo, M, like, what's an authentic DJ?
That's what I want to know.
I mean, damn, this is generation versus generation because I come from the analog era. I come from before digital. So those of you who don't understand that are not going to understand the science. But I learned to DJ not by necessarily doing it first, but watching cats. I went to the Soul Kitchen to watch Frankie on Monday nights. I went and saw Clark Kent at the building. I saw Kid Capri. I mean, you study, you see what's going on, and you emulate, but then once you start doing it on your own, you get your own style, And now, like I said, everybody got the same files. Everybody got the same this, same that. You had to go and search for your records. There was no, if you didn't have one record and somebody else had it, you were mad because you had to go find it. But the accessibility of music now, again, it's a positive because you can get so many remixes. You can make a remix at your house and play it at the party that night. But a lot of cats who are doing this, they're not qualified to do it.
Isn't DJing like I've been really disappointed when I've gone out to a party and somebody's been spending CDs, because here's the thing. I look at DJing, I look at all four elements as specialties. And when people do them well, they stand out from other people. So I look at DJing as something that, hey, this is dope and I can't do it. So when I see somebody DJ, I want to see them do it the way it's supposed to be done. So let me ask you a question. Is it technically easier, like if I went and bought some CDJ machine to fucking play, I'm gonna do my carrying the culture DJ shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the learning curve on that? Like I've heard that you could pretty much get nice with that shit pretty quick.
You can. I mean, there's a number of reasons. You got pitch control, pitch lock, I should say. Like you can lock a pitch in, blend something. You don't even have to really manually try to get it right. Like you just push a button and it's right there. So there's a lot of digital aids for people now. You know, you can even like tap in and loop a beat. Like the school that I'm from, there was no looping anything. You either had to be nice enough to loop something and in your mind think of your next record so you don't fuck your groove up. But you want to have a nice little loop, so you might want people to rock with that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like there's a science to it, and there's a lot of great DJs that do digital and have never spun vinyl. I've seen it. It can be done, but
really,
yeah. I mean, all right. Listen,
digital. Yeah, listen. What you're telling me is mind-boggling to me because I really can't. I'm not trying to. I can't understand that, yo. Like to me, like the DJ meant disc jockey. The disc was a vinyl disc. It wasn't a CD.
Right.
So, like DJing to me seems like something. I've tried it a couple times. It's really hard to do well, and it seems like the learning curve on that to get nice with that is a while, because like from scratching on a record or something versus that skill versus and like blending a record to the next track and you know what I'm saying, transitions and stuff, that seems really hard. And so it's like
no,
if what you're telling me is that like if I don't know, it's like
no, just to clarify, digital DJing is way easier than vinyl DJing because you have to constantly pay attention to what you're doing.
Then that's bullshit. So sorry, like, that's some bullshit. And I don't care. You can name a nigga right now that's like considered a top house DJ, top techno DJ, top hip hop DJ, and I would tell that nigga to his face, yo, that's whack. Yo, that's fucking whack.
But dude, listen,
I know niggas that have like spun vinyl and they've transitioned, but they can still do both, and they just choose it because of convenience. My man, he's nice, and I've gone to his parties, but I know where he's at, and he does it for the, like convenience and shit. He goes out,
right?
He's got thousands of records.
The age of accessibility, brother.
If you've never spun vinyl, you ain't no fucking DJ, man. Fuck that shit.
Listen, you know what? That's old thought, but in this new world, that don't matter. That don't matter. I said the same thing. I said the same thing too. Fuck this world.
Fuck this shit, yo. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't even want to talk about that shit. No, man. You telling me there's niggas that ain't never spun no vinyl and they considered a top DJ? Fuck out of here.
Brother, why do you think I mentioned pay grade before, and why a lot of us DJs that really know what the hell we doing, we get undercut for, the owner's son who just started DJing a week ago. He'll pay him $50 to do something rather than to get his shit right and pay for quality.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop it. That shit is supposed to be something that I can't do. I shouldn't be able to master that shit. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I can take my playlist, go get a bunch of CDJs, and I'll be one of the illest niggas in fucking 2 years, man. Like fucking that's all it means. If that's all it takes. Stop.
Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes like, all right, now I'm getting into like depth of DJing. You know who Dave Mancuso is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Dave Mancuso was a DJ. He could be affiliated with like the whole Paradise Garage crowd. He used to have loft parties. The way he spun, this is my point. The way he spun, he didn't mix records at all. He would play a record from the beginning to end, let it fade out, and then let the next record start. But the mood that he created from what he played and how he played it, it was incredible. So that's what I'm saying. It's possible. You don't have to do all the tricks. You don't even know how to blend. If you have dope records and you can set a vibe, you good.
I've
But
held parties down with my phone, so I know. I mean, like I know. I mean, but that's corny though. I wouldn't call myself a DJ because I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I would call myself like a tastemaker or a curator or some shit. You ain't no fucking DJ, man. Stop. That shit is supposed to be hard to do, nigga. It ain't
yeah,
supposed to be
man,
no easy,
I hear you.
no easy bake oven shit.
Hey, look, nobody cares what I do, but I still keep my skills sharp. You know what I'm saying? And that's why
I
I
care
continue.
if I come to your show and you fucking on some, you got some little knobs and you back there like smoking a cigarette with some knobs and you can walk around, talk to your friends and shit. Fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. If you put a record on and you actually like you so sure of yourself, I want to see a DJ working. Like you put a record on, you should already be in your mind like, all right, what's my next record? Not talking to some chick and then all of a sudden, bam, get right back on. Now, hey, there are cats that can do that, but no, I want to see you working. You know, the school that we come from, you would watch the DJ, you'd see record sleeves flying. You see records, bam, nah, I'm not going to use this one. The records over here. End of the night, your records are beat up. A lot of my records are beat up from doing just that over the years. You know what I'm saying? Cats whose records are too pristine when they spinning, I'm kind of looking at you crazy too, because it's like, yo, man, you put the work in. Like, I know that might be a $500 record, but maybe you might want to leave the $500 record at home and get busy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. No
All right.
doubt. Yo, so talk about the good people, man. That's your squad, and that's
2006. Our first release was on Goon Tracks Media Factory Records. Fun fact, that's the same company that was responsible for that whole Pokemon explosion. That was kind of like their side project. So we were the first artists on that label. And here we are years later, and we've just gotten better with time. Shameless promotions, thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com if you want to cheat and go look at something while this interview is happening. We got a lot of dope releases. I like to describe our music as hip hop soul. I really don't like descriptions because I like to be known as me or us in our own style. But if I had to compare, we get a lot of comparisons to a Tribe Called Quest, like that kind of vibe. But I would say we were like the first time you heard CL Smooth and Pete Rock, that Mecca and the Soul Brother. It was a different sound that came out when that album hit. I think that kind of sound best represents us. It's not necessarily street hardcore, but it's got that knock. But you're also going to hear some melodies and maybe some strings played because Saint is ill on the instruments. So it's hip hop soul. Go check it out. I mean, you know, like I said, everything is not for everybody. And I do still believe in constructive criticism, not hate. There's a difference. All right, so thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com. Check it out.
yeah, no doubt. It's good, yo. I like it, and that's what came to my mind was some native tongue type, tribe type, De La-ish type stuff.
Yeah.
And not to, if I had to put a reference on it, or somebody was like, yo, what do they sound like? That's what I would kind of say. And yeah, I like it. It's I won't say fun, but it's uplifting. A lot of the tracks are. The beats are good. The content of what you got, what you're saying is good. It's solid, yo. I like it, and I prepared a little, you know what I'm saying, for the interview and stuff. I had only heard, to be honest, I had only heard Good for Nothing, which we'll play a little bit before we let you go. Yeah, I'd only heard that album. I think I might have looked at a couple other older joints, but yeah, it's dope. Solid joints.
Appreciate you, brother.
Solid.
I mean,
I highly recommend it. Big up Lee Majors, Bush Babies. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, we like to call our music useful music because it's like, listen, you could play this in the car with the fellas and it's going to bump, but at the same time, you could play it with some chicks in the car. You could play it for your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like it has multi-purpose. We're not meaning to do that, but I think the sound of how it comes out, it's like, yo, I like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not gritty hardcore because look, I just choose to not be a conscious rapper, but just talk about things that I go through in my everyday life, things that I see, because I'm very observant. I'm an observant motherfucker. I watch people because people just don't understand. Like actions speak louder than words is definitely true. Like people play themselves a lot because they're so busy talking, and their actions speak totally different than what they're saying. So I just use my observations and I put it all in our songs, man. And people that latch onto it, they're like, "Yo, I dig this a lot." And I don't know. I feel like we're heavily slept on, but people are starting to slowly wake up to it. I know how I am with music. Like, you go to a thrift shop and pick up a record you've never seen before, and the record was made in '72. Bam, you're listening to it for the first time, and now you're like, yo, this is dope. But it was made 16 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with our music. We have fans along the way that have been like, yo, I just found y'all. Yo, where can I find the rest of your stuff? And that's a gratifying thing because we put a lot of effort into it. I mean, we're both adults now. Like, we're not your typical hip hop group. Like, both of us are parents, responsible parents. You know what I'm saying? We got real life. So we're not trying to exhibit like the stereotypical hip hop life. Like, we make dope music, but at the same time, we're living real lives. And I think I would be playing myself if I tried to make something other than the element that I live in. And that's what everybody's always talking about anyway, right? Stay
Right.
true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. That's what me and Saint do, and actually it works.
Right. I feel you. A couple things. So we got 15 minutes, but there's some other stuff I want to get to. So I want to ask you if we can kill it and run it back for a little while because it's gonna cut us off in a minute, and there's some other shit I want to get to. And I don't want it to chop us off. What's your time like?
I'm good. I'm open.
Okay. So everybody, we're gonna stop the interview. I'm gonna save it, post it real quick, um, and then we're gonna run it back with DJ Emskee. We've got a bunch of shit to cover. So thanks for rocking with us, carrying the culture. DJ Emskee, Brooklyn, New York. So 5 minutes tops. All right. DJ Emskee, round two. I asked some more shit I wanted to cover, and I didn't want to get cut off. So thank you for joining us again.
Indeed. No doubt. Thank you for having me, brother.
No doubt. So, yo, real quick before we jump into some other stuff, who does the beats for
Saint.
So you do the beats too?
No, Saint.
Oh, you said Sane.
Saint. This my
Saint,
partner.
Saint. Yeah, okay, your man. Okay, so he's the producer. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I haven't. Does he spit too, or I've
Yes.
heard? Okay, yeah,
He got verses on the album.
yeah. I thought so, but you usually have a lot of heads on albums on some of your joints. I that was one thing I was trying to clear up. I mean, I knew your voice obviously. Yo, you know who I thought when I first heard you, I thought you sounded like J Live.
Wow.
That's like
I've never heard that before. That's crazy. Wow. And that's a compliment too, because
like
J Live is ill.
voice and kind of like a bouncy flow, like, and he's kind of got this flow where he's rhyming, but like you can tell he's telling you something. Like he's like, yo, I'm kind of like,
exactly.
I'm telling you that, I'm telling you,
I'm glad you said that, brother, because my style is a speak style. Well, in my younger days, and this is I got a lot of history, man. Like the age of the promo era, where you could send promos in and they would play them on the radio. I got a lot of run on New York City radio by just doing promos. And the one thing that everybody used to say is, yo, who's that guy with that strong voice? A lot of people used to tell me I sounded like KRS-One when I was younger because I used to rhyme harder. But now, I'm kind of more laid back, more even. But yeah, man, I've always had that voice. And like Guru said, it's mostly the voice. Like a lot of cats, sometimes they're not even really super dope, but their voice, man, it's just like good money.
Yeah, no, it's the voice. The voice helps. It's a bonus if the voice is good.
Yeah.
And and it's a negative if the voice is whack. There's some
Yes.
dudes that me and my girl kind of fuck with, and there's one kid in the squad. He's nice, but his voice is so high pitched. I mean, it's more high pitched than Be Real. It's like
Right.
so it's like I can only take like a verse from him and keep it moving. Even though he's spitting, he's killing it, but it's like
I understand.
Like,
I fully understand. Yes. Yep.
You know,
It's almost like, come on, just change your voice because your flow is dope, but I can't get past the voice.
Yeah. Big up Mr. Len. Big up.
Len, what up? Salute, sir.
Big up, yes, NYC. Big up everybody in the chat. Got DJ Emskee.
Indeed. Salute everybody.
Going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, yo. You know what I'm saying? I hate when cats be doing the live shows, like, and they be like this pointing out cats, like everybody in here. You know what I'm saying? This is like I always say, I only need like 5 people to fucking like have like a good vibe in here. It's not, you don't need like, you know what I'm saying, like 30. When you get like mad niggas in here, like this, you always gonna get some goofy motherfuckers saying some crazy shit. I was on Applebee's live show that like an hour ago, and somebody was just like, "Rest in peace, Prodigy." Like,
let me say something real quick. All right, I want to send love and strength to everybody out there. We are literally in the middle of a pandemic that has fucked everything up. You know what I'm saying? And life is precious. So I just want to shout everybody out there, please. I hope you're in a good mental space. This quarantine has broken up a lot of relationships. It's messed up a lot of friendships and a lot of things. But I hope everybody's in a good mind space. And if not, keep it moving. All right?
No doubt. No doubt. So I got a couple of questions, more music related still, and we're gonna jump into some other shit. Top 5 DJs, any just who like for you, who's your like top 5? It doesn't, not even hip hop, just like it could be like they could just because they rock it out.
I was so ready for this question.
I know you're ready. You know where I was going.
I was so ready for this question.
You've been on the page. You've been on the page.
No particular order. Kid Capri, Clark Kent, Pete Rock, Larry Levan, Dave Mancuso, Giles Peterson.
Woo!
I got to put Stretch Armstrong in there because he was very influential early on in the 90s.
Indeed.
And I want to shout my man Easy Mo B because Mo is nice. Mo, like, you know, people just know him because, you know, Tupac, Lost Boys. Yo, the brother was an ill producer, but he gets busy on the tables, man. So shout out to my brother. We had a party in New York together called a recognition party, all vinyl party for a little while. We haven't done it in a long time. Hopefully we can get back and do it again. But yeah, those are my top. You know.
Why you got? I'm curious. I think Kid Capri is slept on as a DJ. Why do you have him in there?
I don't. I saw Capri. First of all, I mean, the brother has longevity in his game. Like, you know, there's a lot of cats that come and go, but this cat, I saw him. Fun fact, you know who Nick Wiz is, right? Produced the Cellar Dwellers. I am from the Cellar Sounds All Stars. Like, me and Nick started recording together first, but as we kind of progressed, we started doing promos. I did one for Kid Capri. Calls me one night. He's like, yo, that promo was ill. What you doing tomorrow? This is when he was DJing at BLS during the week in the city. So I was like, nothing. What's up? He's like, yo, come to the station. I'm hyped. I go grab Nick. We go up there. My point is, I sat there and watched this brother live do what he does. Quick story. I got there early the first night. It was about, the show was from 7 to 7:30. I got there at like 6:40. I'm sitting in the lounge, 6:45, 6:50. I'm like, yo, this dude's got a show to do at 7 o'clock. He's not here. 6:55. Elevator opens. Kid Capri, Heavy D, YZ, one of YZ's boys, Kid Capri's manager, and Kid Capri's girl at the time. Kid is carrying a crate of records. I'm like, yo, Kid. He stops. I'm like, yo, it's M. He's like, M, come on, I'm late. We walking into the studio. Now, his show starts at 7. This is on BLS. So this is a commercial station where stuff has to be on time. There's no dead air. We run in the studio. This dude, within 2 minutes, had to take his needles out, put the needles. Meanwhile, I don't know if you remember, he used to play a drop at the top of his show. It sounded like the beginning of his tape. The radio knob thing at the beginning of his Kid Capri the tape. That was his drop. That's on. He doesn't have a record on the turntables yet. So I'm like, yo, he's not gonna make it. When I tell you he did all this stuff with no headphones, and as soon as the drop came, wheeled the record back up, bam, dropped Ghettos of the Mind. Ghettos of the Mind. Ghettos of the Mind from CL Smooth and Pete Rock. And wound up cutting that up for like 5 minutes. I mean, no headphones. How you gonna argue with that? How do you argue with that?
You don't. That's legendary shit, and that's why I think he's one of the
Crazy.
best.
That's the way I first saw him.
That's why I think he's one of the best to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him at the building. Like I said, the building was crazy. He used to have that place rocking, and he's still doing it today. So that's why Kid Capri's on my list.
So let's get into the real shit, man. And this is I mean, I wanted to talk about a lot of things, but I always try to end the shows with like real shit because life is real, and to me, this hip hop shit is just it's not the real shit. And the real shit is what's going on around us. So
I feel you.
You got a lot of your page is very active. You're very active. You're very vocal about a lot of different social issues and things like that. And I vibe with a lot of the shit that you say, and it makes a lot of sense to me and stuff like that. So I really want to get into that because that's to me that's the important shit. That's why I fuck with you more than fuck your music. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Like it's about,
right.
It's about like kind of what I've seen. What at least people always post what they post, but I mean from what I gather, you're very intelligent, very insightful, and I did pick up on the observant shit, which is why I rock with you because I pay attention to everything.
Got to.
Everything.
Got to.
At all times.
Yep.
Like, my head is always.
Yep.
So I wanted to get into that. So like, let's talk a little bit, y'all. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on some of the major shit that's been going on lately. As far as the election goes, and I'll just share real quick, like you were very vocal about trying to get Trump out of here, but then I've seen some memes, and one of my major points about this whole election was like, I was pissed about the choices. I think they're both clowns. I don't think Harris is the greatest either. You gotta do the knowledge on this, and it's right there. If you really, it's not like this stuff isn't hidden. Their voting records aren't hidden. I mean, all this shit is right there. So it's like, so my whole thing was like, yo, they suck. I said there were over 1,200 people that were registered to like run for president. I said, telling me these were the two best that we got. You know what I mean? Like that's not. And this is always who was put in our faces. The night of the election, I didn't hear nothing about no third-party candidates, nobody else, but other people were out there trying to make moves. So talk a little bit about that, because I know we had to get Orange Man out there, but how do you feel about like just I guess the where our government at in general?
I think this is going to sound really crazy. I think the pandemic was a blessing in the sense that it made people pay attention to things that they normally wouldn't pay attention to. When George Floyd was killed, this is near the beginning of the pandemic, and it was on your TV. People couldn't go anywhere because we had just been kind of like quarantined, and you're more focused on what's going on TV. And I think a lot more people than normal began to see what was going on. For all the newbies that don't really know the history of black people and white people, and they just think that, oh, why are they mad all the time and this and that and the other, I think because of George Floyd's death and how he was murdered, and then the other events that have transpired since then, I think more attention has been paid, in addition to the antics of, I like to call him the Orange Anus. I don't even address his name, but the antics of the Orange Anus in the White House. He just threw flame on the fire to all the people, the foundation idealists of this country. He gave them a voice by Make America Great Again. And he himself is a racist. So with him being president and with all of those surrounding energies being summoned up, we had to get him out. there's only two choices. Because I've heard brothers say, man, yo, I ain't voting for either one. But I do get that as well. There were for years I never voted either. Because I don't believe in the system. Like you're always just given these two choices and you're supposed to pick between those two. What if I don't like either one? But we had to get, and you've heard this, the phrase, the lesser of two evils. I don't like Biden. I'm not fully sold on him, and I have issues with Kamala. But we had to get him out because as the tail end of this, you see now what he's really been doing. He's like abusing the power like nobody's business at this point. I mean, dude, the dude lost, and you're still contesting. I mean, this stuff was just finalized within the last day. So how much time has gone by? He never addressed the nation after the initial election. So basically the country has been in limbo. There's no stimulus for nobody. Okay? There's no package. There's no there's no there's no package on the table.
Let me go add something real quick. So here's the thing about this funny thing about the stimulus, right? So they all knew it was going to end July 30th. Like whatever checks anybody was getting, like the federal shit. So they wait until after that to start negotiating. We're hearing about possible stimulus. Then they go into recess for Labor Day, and then we hear nothing. All we're hearing about is the election. Like that shit is off the table, yo. We ain't got shit. They basically said, "Here's your $1,200. Fuck you. Have a nice day." And as you posted, what'd you post recently? Today, that their salaries did not change.
Be clear, everybody. The people that have shut us down and are arguing for our money have been getting a paycheck ever since this thing started. They can sleep at night. They have food on the table. You know, I don't want to make this a political show. I mean, I get vocal about these things because I think people need to speak up. And, you know, no matter what anybody else says, because everybody has varying opinions. I understand that. But this is a critical time for our country. Getting back to the George Floyd thing, though. George Floyd, along with Donald Trump's antics, attention has been brought to the long-standing problem in this country that black people have caught the ends of the stick. Don't talk to me about black-on-black crime. Don't try to come at me to combat what I just said, because that's a totally different subject.
Right.
Okay, that's a totally different subject. What I'm saying is not all white people are bad, because remember, in the civil rights era, there was a lot of white people that got the dog sicked on them too, because they stood with us. But right now, that old glory is still around. And when Obama was in office for 8 years, you ain't hear shit from him. Think about that. 8 years, there wasn't this much boisterous action from them, but Trump gave them a voice. He gave them a reason. And then from the Klan, now you have the QAnon. I don't even want to say their name, but, you know, you have the boys. You know what I'm saying? You have all these groups coming out now because they believe, oh, their country is being taken away from them. In a way, it is, because we've evolved. We've evolved. But black people built this country. You see what's going on. Even today, you saw the situation in Chicago with the lady. They broke into the wrong house. She's butt naked. And she's saying, you got the wrong house. And they still following orders. Black woman humiliated her. For what? Police need to be abolished, man. Fuck that reform shit. Because I've heard people say before, oh, there's good cops. Where are they? Where are they? Where are the good cops? Do you hear about them in the news? What do you hear about? Every single day, it's bad cops, bad cops, bad cops. And if there are good ones, stand the fuck up. But at the same time, I like to think of both sides of the coin. A lot of these officers who are good officers, they have families they got to support. They get on the wrong side of shit. But then again, I'm like, yo, there's lives being lost. So is your security versus lives being lost in the street? It's complicated. But at the same time, police need to be abolished, yo, and we need to come up with something different. Because if you didn't know, whoever doesn't know out there, cops originated way back when as slave catchers. Okay? Just think about that concept. You're running after somebody because they're property of somebody else, and you catch them. That was the police. That's where the police started. So when you start on that mindset and then you move forward into history, you have families who are cops. Like the son was a cop, the father was a cop, and they follow the same patterns every time they get on the force. And who does all of this happen to? Black and brown people. Now I'm not gonna say, listen, every brother ain't good. You know, there's some malicious people out there. Let's just get that clear. But on the majority, there's a lot of black and brown people who lose lives for no reason other than excessive force, other than, oh, I need something to do. And then they get the hand slap justice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and we're not supposed to be mad. We're not supposed to go to the street. We're not supposed to say Black Lives Matter. You know, that's so hypocritical to the nth degree, man. It's crazy. But again, if you walk around dwelling on this stuff mad, this is the complicated thing, and this is where you have to have your mind together. Like my man Easy Mo B says, keep your soul together. Because if you out here walking like a loose cannon, people aren't really going to be around you. They're not going to listen to you. You have to be tactful with your thoughts. Don't act on emotion. There are things that you can do to still be a staunch soldier for this movement, but you ain't really got to get gangster all the time, because to be honest with you, you see the real ungangster stuff that even white people are doing within the Black Lives Movement. They're dressing up in all black and initiating things to make it look like we started it. The devil got game, but you can't succumb to that level. Now, some brother may say, yo, I don't agree with that at all. Look, they've killed so many of us from slavery times till now. I need blood. I understand. But understand this. When you act like that, they're expecting you to act like that. And we have no wins versus 5-0 at this point. So all that gangster stuff, what does that get you? It gets you locked up. Got to use this now, man. And listen, I have a homegirl who's been documenting a lot of stuff. She went to Minnesota after George Floyd. She was in D.C. Let me tell you, man, she's taken a lot of video. Cats have taken L's in the street on both sides because it's real out there. You know, we can sit on social media and send out memes and all these crazy things, but it's real in the field out there. But I'm glad that we got that guy out of the White House. I think he's going to leave. I don't know, but we're going to see what happens with all these votes that Biden bought. And when I say bought, that means, you know, selling us more lies. We'll see what happens. It's about time, though, because like I said, the attention has been brought to the issue of black plight, black pain. They've seen it firsthand, and Donald Trump has helped that cause. So we're going to see all the black folks that voted for him, that allowed him to get in here, because that was us. Make no mistake, that was us that got Biden in there. What you gonna do? And we watching real close. We watching real close.
Wait
man.
and see mode for me.
Yeah, exactly. We watching real close.
I'm not holding my breath for anything. No, nothing has really ever changed under any president.
No,
man, you know,
it has not.
To be honest with you, the more prudent thing to do would be to vote in the local and state elections, like if they're legalizing weed or some shit. That shit, the day-to-day, that shit affects my day-to-day life. The county elections and stuff.
Right.
That's the shit I should really be paying attention to, because the presidency is some fuck shit you know what I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned. But yo, you spitting real facts right there, man. So if Emskee were president, what would be like what would be your top priorities? How would you move?
No, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want to. I don't want that position at all, brother. Because listen, you like a DJ, when you doing a party, you're not gonna make everybody happy, and I can't deal with that kind of stress and that kind of responsibility. So I'm not doing that. But I will say that, folks, it's good to be online and post crazy shit, because we all need a break from the monotony of seriousness. But please pay attention to what's going on. Make that make that TikTok stuff part-time and really pay attention to your local legislation, because the thing that needs to change for black people is not team names for Native Americans, and like I include them too. You know, a couple of teams have changed names, and I hear the Cleveland Indians are dropping the word Indian. That's great, but laws and legislation are what we need for the playing field to even to begin to be equal. And that's a small step, because understand there are people that see us as they still see us as property. My great 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 grandfather owned you. I've heard that shit. Okay, it's real out here, but just move with tactfulness, man. I mean, you know, all the bravado and stuff. That's great because there's a time and a place for that, but you got to really think about your movements, man, because you're not really useful being locked up. Then you have no voice, man. Now you're just a number, and you like everybody else.
Facts. People don't want to. Yeah, that's real shit right there. A lot of people don't want to hear that though.
I don't know, but you know what? Listen,
But
this is the time for reality, bro. Reality.
That's
truth.
That's how you gotta move though, man. You gotta learn the game and see how to. You gotta move within the. Listen, we're in the different shit. Like if you're in a different element, you gotta learn how to move within. Like, so what you're saying is real, yo. There's a time and place for everything. Time, place, circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody, we can all get rah-rah. You know what I'm saying? I can get rah-rah.
Oh yeah.
There's times where I air people out, and there's times where I just fucking ignore the comment. It depends on the situation.
Right. Learn how to gauge.
Every situation is different. Yes. Every single situation is different. That's why I have so many different types of friends, because if you fuck with me, yo, I'm gonna fuck with you heavy. Like I don't care where you from, like who you are, like what you're about, what your back. I will ride with you. Like I don't care. But like as soon as I see otherwise, it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But like it's about how to move, man, and that's a really, really, really important point. You can't be 100. You can't be at 100 miles an hour all the time.
But you know what? You know, a word to add to movement: move balanced. You gotta learn how to balance shit. Because if you're imbalanced, and this gets into energy and everything. If your energy is imbalanced, your whole shit's gonna be off. Your energy got to be right. Your mind's got to be right. And I'm not talking about getting stemmed up. Sometimes that helps, but sometimes you really got to focus on the problem.
Right, of course. A lot of times. We're about to get on out of here. We're gonna play my joint, yo. Fucking this is where I first actually heard you, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't know if we're gonna do it afterward, but can I just give out the stats for, like, you know, how to reach the good people? And,
of course.
Remember, like I said before, thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com. Shout out to my man Saint. You could add us on Instagram at The Good People Hip Hop. I also have a radio show on Friday nights on Bushwick Radio called Pen Joints, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. NeverSayNever.com. That's NeverSayNever. Straight joints for the whole hour. If you remember shows like Pirate Radio, Future Flavors, Stretch and Bob, Martin Moore Mayhem, that's the template of what my show is about on Friday nights on Bushwick Radio. All right. And then the dance show that you were talking about before, the Controlled Substance Show, soulful house music, deep disco, and international dance sounds every Friday night, late night, 11 p.m. to midnight on sg1house.co.uk. All right, I got that fire. Bring the baby powder out. You know what I'm talking about. Move them feet.
You had some joints on there. They had me moving for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But thank you for having me, CTC. Big up. This is an essential show. You are an essential worker, sir. I salute you.
You are too. I salute you. I'm glad we got to do this, man. I mean, like, fucking.
No doubt, man.
It was important for me. And you said you have dope guests on. Yeah, you're a dope guest. That's why I had you on.
Thank you, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room too. Like, I appreciate y'all taking time out to just kind of focus in on what we're talking about. Your attention can be anywhere else in the world. You're here right now, and I appreciate y'all.
Say, yo, like it's a really special thing when you look at like the 9, 10 people, 12, whatever people in here that are like here vibing out, rocking with this shit, and you know what I'm saying? Because you could be anywhere else, especially in 2020. Like, there's so many.
Dude, listen. If I made a joke one time, I told Saint, I said, yo, if we do a video and it only gets 25 likes, I'm loving the fuck out of those 25 people because they paid attention to what was going on. I want the 25,000 or the 250,000, but you know what? If those 25 people, I know they focused in and they're like, yo, I like this. You know what I'm saying? So people like to diss small numbers, but nah, I don't do that because everybody's important. And like me and Saint's fan base, we've built our fan base organically. I'm not into paying for the likes and paying for the views and stuff. Like if you like our stuff, it's like add on. We do it the generic way.
Of course, no doubt. This was episode 23, the Current and Culture Show with DJ Emskee. Next week we got Planet Asia on.
Woo!
Medallions, that dude's been on fire.
Yes, indeed.
I told him he's bullied himself into top 10 discussions, man. His catalog is
straight up facts.
We're gonna get out of here with this shit. This is my shit right here, yo.
What's that? That's the intro to the album. Shout out to Cool DJ Red Alert.
It's the coolest lesson by the coolest DJ Red Alert. One of the pioneers in the beginning of the hip hop culture. Let me tell you something about the culture called hip hop. A lot of people think it had faded out. It must be out your goddamn mind. Maybe the corporations took a piece of it and ran off, but we remain as it is, okay?
Look out for the 2 Christmas joints on our good Bandcamp page too.
One by the name of Saint. The other by the name of Emskee.
Look out for the project with the Milk Crate crew coming at the end of the month. Look out for solo Emskee stuff in 2021.
Good for nothing. You don't understand? Check it out for yourself.
There's a lot of skinny mics like the 70s game show hosts around with long stem wax sound. Everyone is or does their own beliefs on what's good to try to get that crown to get it down. But choose winning with the usual styles and lose ground like a quarterback. Call for the sack, running hard with the pack of all sheep walk sleeping. Believing their own bullshit every season.
Woo!
We bear witness like the slogan in Cleveland that we'll never be a part of that as long as we're breathing. We push life and energy that's real to help us try to heal the bunch of hardships in the field. Not sedating and they know it's some part-time kill. Like the many swallowing that pill. See, me and my man are here to pressure the scene and refresh it and introduce a new record.
Ate that shit.
Salute,
Ate
sir.
That shit.
Salute.
Ate it.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother.
That's my go-to joint right there. I bump that shit heavy.
And that's crazy because that's not even the song. It's the intro to the album.
Wow, that's I play that. I play that all the time.
Cool, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
That's in the list. So salute. We're gonna tag you in the reposts and clips and all that. You know how we do. So
on the break, some cats were asking me, "Yo, man, if I could get a copy of this, man, I wanna get it." So I guess when you post it, you can just share it with people, right?
Yeah. So here's what we'll do. So we're gonna chop up some clips, post it to the IG, but the full interview and the clips will all be on YouTube. So we got a YouTube channel. So all the full interview will be up there. So
salute. Oh, one more thing. Mixcloud.com/MARCSMITH184/. That's my resume. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed if you into real music of a universal level.
Big up, DJ Emskee.
Salute.
We'll talk to you.
Peace.
Peace.